Stay here. Stay here. This is my mantra. I'm noticing frequently the pull. And I don't know what word to use for it. The word really doesn't matter. It could be called the pull into dissociation, the pull out of my body, the pull into shutdown, the pull into identification with pain body or an egoic identity. It's the pull away from myself, the pull away from the now, the pull away from being here and now. It feels like a pull into unconsciousness. And as someone who has experienced being diagnosed with narcolepsy, and I wonder how much of that is just a physical representation of this, because it feels very much the same. It's a loss of focus that feels forced. It's like being unable to stay awake, trying to stay awake. When you are sleep deprived, which is what narcolepsy is essentially, is a state of chronic sleep deprivation. There are times when you can feel your eyes rolling back in your head. And you're trying to snap yourself out of it. You're trying to come back, to stay awake, to regain and maintain consciousness. And it feels like you're slipping, like you're on this cliff. The pull, the inertia that unconsciousness has is powerful. Whether it is the physical unconsciousness of the body falling asleep, or this pull into and away from being here and now, being fully within the present moment, just being here. And I don't know if it has something to do with a part of myself, an identity, a protective mechanism, because ego is the protective aspect, a mechanism of defense, protection that formed when there was a time that it deemed being in my body was unsafe, being in the present moment felt unsafe because I couldn't process, I couldn't handle everything that was happening. And so it just took me out of it. It took me into some other place that wasn't there. And now it just happens. It happens not by choice. In fact, it happens pretty often when I don't want it to. And so my focus is staying here, is just staying here. I want to be here for whatever is here. I'm capable of handling it. Whatever it is, I want to be here for it. I want to be present for it. I want to be fully in it. I want to be fully feeling it, whatever it is. If it's pain, then it's pain. And if it's pleasure, I definitely want to be here for that. I want to be here for all of it. It's like the moment sensation becomes intense, or even the idea of it, the thought that it might be intense, something triggers and I can feel it sucking. It has this suction to it. It has this gravity, this pull. And I think Eckhart Tolle would probably describe or define that as a particularly strong or well-established entity of some sort, whether it would be called a faction of pain body, which works in conjunction with ego anyway, or not, whatever it would be called. It pulls me away from myself. And then it's trying to get back into the body, and I've been feeling it all day. I made it back in, and now for the past hour I've just been trying to stay here, and I just keep repeating that to myself in my head. Stay here, stay here. I can feel my heart pounding. I can feel a vibration running through me. High sensation, that's as accurately as I could describe it, because it just feels like energy. It feels like electricity pulsing through me. And I'm just wanting to stay present in it, to stay intensely present. That's another thing Eckhart Tolle has described, is the difference between normal presence, which is just your sort of run-of-the-mill, nothing is happening, but here we are, and intense presence, when something is happening, something perhaps troubling, something perhaps otherwise that would be upsetting to ego, something that is intense, something with heightened emotion and sensation. And the thing is, nothing is happening. And yet I am in that place, because this energy band keeps being triggered powerfully, and it's triggered quite powerfully, most powerfully, by the connection that I am in, by the individual that I am seeing. And it's always been that way too. From the moment we met, it was set off. The moment we met, I felt the nervousness in a way I'd never felt it before. And every time we've been together, every single time, because we've spent a good amount of time together hanging out over the past year, and every time the nervousness is there, and I'm realizing it's an excitation of my energy, because of course nervous and excited are really the same thing. There's just more resistance in nervousness. There's extra thought there. Excited is just excited. It's pure. You're not contradicting it. You feel the energy flowing, you feel yourself light up. Nervous is nervous because you felt the energy light up, and then a thought came and stepped in front of it. A thought that pulled the other direction from it. And so there's this tension there. And every single time that we have ever been even in proximity to one another, I've felt it. And there have been many times that I ran from it. I chose to be away. Because the mind told me that was safer. Because it said, we can't handle this, we can't handle this energy, this nervousness, this anxiety, and so just run. I let fear keep me away. I let fear keep me away from her. There were times that I opted not to see her, because not because I didn't want to, because the anxiety was so much, and I let it stop me. I let the fear control me. I let it keep me from something that I wanted. I let fear make a decision, when fear is not a reason to do anything. It's not even really fear. It is excitement. It's just all of this extra shit, all of this extra made up stuff in the mind that then characterizes it as fear. It's just heightened sensation. That's all it is. It's intense sensation. Any further labeling of it is not only unnecessary and unhelpful, it's untrue. My energy just lights up. It sizzles, it crackles, even at the idea of being near her. At the prospect, certainly, but even the idea of it. And then make that a physical reality, and it's just, it's everything all at once. And so that has pushed me out of my body a lot of times. A lot of times. Again, even just considering it, even at just the idea of being near her, it's caused me to lose the centering within myself, lose the connection within myself. I've told her that she is largely responsible for any amount of my learning to ground and stay present, because I have had to in order to even be near her. And I mean just in the same building, not even in eye line, not even in communication, just in the same building. It takes focus for me to stay present in my body. And again, it's been that way. It has been that way since we met. So, I mean, what an incredible practice that is. And I'm so grateful for that. Challenging? Abso-fucking-lutely. Rewarding? Even more so. Even more so. Because actually being present near her, I mean, it is electrifying. And when I can stay there and not resist it and be fully feeling it, I mean, it's indescribable. It's enlivening, it's enlightening, it's exhilarating. Just to be in her presence, just to be near her, nothing happening. We don't even have to speak words. We don't have to be looking at one another, but oh my God, if that's happening, then it's even harder. But there is like this toggle where sometimes it really pushes me out of presence and sometimes it really grounds me in it. If that's my intention, if I really focus and I go into it with my intention being this grounds me, this helps me stay here. I am continuing to ground this energy as I'm experiencing it. I am staying here. I'm here for this. I'm here. I'm now. And sometimes that switch trips. Sometimes if I lose that focus or just something happens, there's an overwhelm and I lose the balance and it shifts the other direction and I'm gone. I'm out of my body again. Going, fuck. Let me back in. And it's not something that's incredibly obvious to most people. If you are someone who has ever experienced it, then you can recognize it in other people. You can tell when it happens, when the disconnect takes place, and there's There's a separation. It feels very disjointed. It feels very disconnected, and you can see it in the eyes. There's a loss of focus. That's what it feels like internally, and that's what it is in the eyes too. It's this loss of focus. It's like you can't see. It's like you can't see clearly, like your eyes won't focus. It's the feeling of consciousness also being unable to focus itself. It's like scattered. And I felt that last night, and I felt that this morning, and I've felt it so many times, and it's so much easier to feel alone when you're alone. But it's so much more powerful to be witnessed in it. And allowing my desire to be present with her to really sharpen my focus and my intention and my determination to be present, to be here, to be fully in my body so that I can be fully here with her, because that's what I want. That's my desire. That's not for anybody else. That's for me. That is what I want, to be here, to be in her presence entirely. And it's here whether she's physically here or not. That too. That too. Because like all presence, it's everywhere. Her presence is presence. We have the same presence. All of it is presence, and now it's tangible in everything. She is in everything. The same way that I am, the same way that all of us are. So that's it, really. I'm really working on staying here. I've been feeling it this entire time. It is, again, just this sensation of being electrified. There is an electrical current running through me. My heart is pounding still. And I am trying to stay present with it, in it, feeling it, not departing, not letting myself look away from this, keeping the focus here and now, staying here and now, and intensifying of my awareness on what is felt, on what is right now, on being here and now. And here and now is intense. And the more that I practice existing in this intense sensation, the easier it will become, the more natural it will become to remain here rather than stepping out of it. I'm building momentum here. I'm building gravity here so that this becomes where the pull is. The pull is into the present rather than away from it. And I believe the energy that is surrounding us at this time is assisting with that tremendously. It is helping everyone push into the present. If you've ever been highly caffeinated, I would describe it as a similar sensation. Over-caffeinated, just highly stimulated, having taken a lot of stimulants. It's not quite jitters. It's just this feeling of energy coursing through you, and you can feel it. Heart pounding, a little bit of tightness in the chest, perhaps, almost a shortness of breath. Not quite. But just like you can feel I don't know how else to describe it. It's vibration. Everything is vibrating. I am vibrating. I feel myself vibrating. Which of course is what I am, is what all of us are. We are vibrational beings. We are pure energy. That is the essence of our self being felt. And we'll be feeling more and more of it. As our energetic systems wake up, come online. They've been asleep for most of us for a long time. Kundalini awakening is becoming a much more common occurrence, a fairly common occurrence. What used to be considered rare, extremely rare, potentially quite dangerous, is happening spontaneously. I'm determined to stay here. I'm determined to keep breathing in this and not departing from it. Not asking it to change. Acclimating to it. Teaching my body, teaching my mind that this is safe to experience. We don't have to run away from this. We can just stay right here in this sensation, as powerful as it is, just allowing it to be. The heart space is opening, it's expanding, it is taking in more energy, more light. It's distributing more of that through the rest of the body. Our physical forms are transitioning, they are becoming less dense, they are lengthening, they are expanding and loosening. As our energetic system, that which we are, as our fields are excited by this influx of high vibrational energy, it has the same effect upon the physical components of our body. The molecules become excited, and as molecules do when they experience an excited state, they start to stretch, they start to expand, they start to move apart. They become less dense, they are less tightly clustered. It is similar to water heating up, the introduction of energy, reaching the boiling point where it tips, right? There's a transition. Those molecules become so excited that things start to release, and the composition of them changes in such a way that there is a physical change able to be witnessed. We are being physically changed. It is a bit like being boiled from the inside. It's that same experience, that same sensation of everything is heating up, everything is being charged, electrified, excited. Stay here. I want to stay here in it. Whatever happens, I want to be present for it. That is my intention. Whatever happens, I want to be present for it. I am capable of feeling it fully, and I want to. That is my desire. to be here in the sensation, as intense as it gets, whatever way it presents. I want to be here for it. And I'm realizing again that this is very much the same as what I experienced at the beginning of this channel when the Kundalini awakening happened. This sensation of electricity pouring through me. And it taking all of my focus to stay present in it. Not to run from it. There's nowhere to run from it. There is nowhere to hide from it. It stays here. I want to stay here with it. I am becoming bigger in this. I am becoming more expanded, more allowing, more open of a channel, allowing more energy to flow through me. And that is what I want, as much of as I can handle in any given moment, which is going to feel like too much, but it's never too much. It's exactly the right amount. And it's showing me that too much is not too much. There is no too much. If it feels like more than I can handle, then I can handle more than I thought. And that's what I'm learning. That's what I am teaching myself by staying present in this. Focusing on continued breathing. Every breath is a new breath. Every moment new. Stay here. I can feel sensation in the third eye, in the heart, in the root and sacral center, specifically those locations. This is as much a documentation of this experience as it is an expression. It's at once dizzying and grounding as I am focusing on the grounding. It's a feeling of being both condensed and stretched simultaneously. Like there is nuclear fission and fusion, I suppose, taking place within me. Rapid fire. Okay, well, this is my endeavor. This is what has been so all-consuming in my experience. Is the focus on staying here. This is taking all of my focus and my attention. This is where I am. And that is perfectly all right. I am here. I'm present in it. I'm present with it. And I intend to stay here. I know there is a way that I can relax into this space. I know that I will. I know that I do. Right now, this is how most of my time is spent. In general, this is how most of my time is spent. Staying here. Or if I have been pulled out of here and now, getting back to here and now. This is my whole journey. It's a single step. The step into now. The step into myself, into presence, into embodiment, into being fully realized here and now. It's the continuous arrival into the now moment. That is the entirety of my journey. Feeling the energy flow from my feet, from the root into the earth. Okay. Well, I am going to stay here. But I would like to also play guitar, so I'm going to do that now as well. This is what is, and all of it is right and allowed. Pleasure being in the now with you. Here we are. We always are. And so it is.